Hey, what up guys? Here's a quick video showing how to bind the Furious FPV Moskito 70 to a Spektrum radio. The radio that I have here is a DX8. It's running on DSMX, and this receiver works on DSMX. So first off, I'm using a Mac computer. If you're using a PC, it's going to be very similar. You just gotta download Betaflight or Raceflight, whatever program you prefer to use. I just downloaded Betaflight, very simple. Just open up the Google Chrome store or the apps and just search for Betaflight and find the one for Betaflight. Download it to your app store, which I have here. So Betaflight is there. So before you start, you want to make sure you know how to do the COI command on Betaflight. So first, I already had this link open. I just typed in CLI command to bind Spektrum. And then you're just going to go into this link right here, which will provide you with the command. So you can copy and paste it over to the Betaflight COI section. So here's a list. I just went down, just scroll down. Pretty much what you want to do is you want to copy and paste this guy right here. Set Spektrum underscore sat underscore bind space equals space 9 in the COI command box. So very, very simple. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm getting a little sick, guys. My voice just sounds very horrible right now. But first you want to know this command to bind. After you're done binding, you want to do this one, set Spektrum, satellite bind to 0 to, stop the binding process, or else every single time you power on, the thing wants to bind. So go here, open up Betaflight, and then first, or also another thing you want to do is make sure that you have the correct drivers. I installed this a long time ago on my MacBook, and I believe I did have to install one driver in order for my computer to connect to any of these flight controllers. So this is your first time, or actually your first quad or first time doing any of this stuff. Just make sure you download the driver. All that stuff can be found on the Betaflight, website. So on mine, you can see close look. Make sure it's the USB. They give you a different selection. Sometimes if you don't have the thing connected first, it will be Bluetooth and you would never connect. Just make sure it's in the CU and USB modem. And to be honest, I'm not exactly sure what all this stuff means. I just know that this needs to be it. Click connect. Once you're connected, you can see your live status. The whole quad works. Everything is operational. And then you want to scroll down to the very bottom over here where it says CLI command. You don't see it, but if you put your mouse over it, it will bring you up like, some of the words, I believe on the very bottom. Or did, yeah, there you go, CLI. Click on it. Now you enter the COI mode. And then once you have that, you want to go back over here. And then you just copy and paste this guy over here, set Spektrum bind. Don't copy the quotes, just copy what's inside the quote. Just do command copy, go back over to the Betaflight, and then just go over here and paste. Once you paste that, you hit enter. Also, there's the manual here. So it says right here, once you hit enter, just remove the USB cable. And actually for this process, you don't need the battery connected. All you need is just a USB cable. I'm using a regular USB to a micro USB. Once you hit that, hit enter. It's going to enter here. Unplug the USB cable to restart it. Plug it back in. Once you plug it back in, the receiver is going to flash. Once your receiver is flashing, you're going to go into your radio with it off. Hold down the buy button. I know some guys have the DX8 or the new little DX6, something like that. Just hit the bind processor on your remote. Power it on, hit the bind, and just wait. And then usually your remote will tell you when it's bounded, and also the little flashing light on the receiver is going to stop flashing, and it will become a solid yellow or orange color depending on how you look at it. Once you have that done, you still want to leave Betaflight open. Don't close Betaflight. Don't turn off your computer. Once you have that done, you go back down in here. You copy, save Spektrum satellite. Go back here, enter it in, and pretty much this is going to change from 9 to 0. You hit enter, and that's going to tell the receiver to stop the bind process. So next time you power on, you don't have to bind every single time. If you do leave it at 9, pretty much you would just have to bind every single time you power on the Moskito 70. So that's why you go back in here and change that 9 to 0. Once you have that done, enter, and then save if you want. unplug it, plug it back in, and you're ready to go. I left all of my settings on here stock on, oh, let me connect because I exit out. I have all of my settings on here stock. The only thing I did to my Moskito 70 was I went to the modes and I added air mode. I'm sorry, not air mode. I added horizon mode for self-leveling. I don't know. I like to fly self-leveling, you know, so I find it more relaxing, more enjoying. But I do have, you know, the arm set, and I do have, acro mode, or people want to call it, you know, non-self-leveling, just so that way I can do some flips and rolls here and there, and then just switch it back when I'm flying indoors, because I find indoor flying with horizon mode a lot easier. Set the range, set the switch. That'll be a separate video. I just want to show you guys how to bind this guy. And also, just a tip, after you bind it with your Spektrum radio, it turns out, or I realized, let me scoot this aside, you can see it turned orange back here. I did realize that I had to go into my menu here. Let me focus. There we go. And I had to go into my servo setup. I'm not a lefty, so go back to the right hand. I had to go to my servo setup, and then for the travel adjustment or endpoints, depending on what radio you have, it could say travel, it could say endpoints. I just had to bump the, the throttle endpoint to about 120, so just bring it to the center, so it highlights both. Default is 100, but I found out with 100, I cannot get the Moskito to arm, and also the arming switch doesn't even work, because I have the arming switch on the gear back here. So you gotta bump this guy up to about 120 to bring it to the correct range. Also, you want to double check, since we're already talking about how to bind. Just want to go into here, and you want to go to your radio controller, right? You want to make sure that it's around 1500. Oh, see, my radio is getting pretty old, so all the numbers are just all over the place for some reason. So you want to make sure you have all of this, and then you go into your sub trim, and make sure that you adjust the roll, pitch, yaw, and the throttle accordingly, so that way, or don't do throttle, just do the roll, pitch, and yaw, and make sure that they're very close to around 1500. One or two values off is not too bad, but if it's like off by, like, if it's like, for example, 1480, 1490, what's going to happen is, if you go back to your main page, or where is it? Over here, what's going to happen is, if your trimming is not set correctly, you're going to slowly see a rotation like this, and it's not going to stop. So you want to make sure you set your trimming. That's very important on here. Also, make sure you set your channels to be the correct direction. So for example, you have the roll here. If I do the roll, when I go left, that bar should go left. The bar should go right when I go right. If it goes the opposite, then you're going to have a problem. So make sure you have those correctly. For example, too, the pitch, when you go down, like so, that bar should go down. When you go up, like this, forward, that should go up. Same thing for the yaw, right, right, left, left. If you see anything that's opposite, go on to your radio and just reverse it from there, because I realized that actually two of the settings, I believe roll was off and the yaw was off. So if I'm trying to fly like that for the very first time and you don't know about that, so it is not completely bind and fly, but it could be different from radio to radio. Oh, my code is kicking in. So there you go. That was supposed to be a quick video, but it ended up turning to be about 8-9 minutes. I'll end it here. I'll save the rest of the good stuff for the future review video, which would be more detailed. So that's a quick video. I hope this helps some of you guys who asked me how to bind it. The hardest part is you may have an issue with connecting your computer to the flight controller, because some computers may not recognize it until you have the driver. So make sure you do that first. If you have any issues, just go into the RC group forum and just find beta flight forum, and then guys will be able to help you there. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.